Hello everyone, this is part 14 of What If Naruto Traveled Back in Time and Changed, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Hokage's office, 3 days after preliminaries. Jiraiya hopped in through the window and waved to Hiruzen and a shadow clone of Itachi that was learning to perform the duties. Jiraiya asked for a bit of privacy and made an extra mention that it was a conversation meant for himself and Hiruzen. The Itachi clone respectfully nodded before collecting a stack of papers and leaving the office. So, it is finally time for him to take over, huh sensei? Jiraiya opened the dialogue awkwardly. You know, Jiraiya, I don't even care anymore. The end is in sight, and I will be forever rid of this monstrous paperwork. So, what did you need to talk about, Jiraiya? Hiruzen relaxed back into his chair and leaned back to take a break from the tiny white demons. I need your help convincing Naruto to sign the Toad contract. Ma and Pa are furious, and the old geezer Toad said that the prophecy is changing. They are worried if I don't make this right that it will spell bad news for the shinobi world. Jiraiya explained despondently. And you think I can help? Why? Hiruzen replied dryly. He was sick of trying to make things right with Naruto at this point and he resigned himself to being on the boys' shit list for the remainder of his days. Jiraiya tried to puff out his chest and regain some of his lost bravado. Because you are the Hokage, and it is a Konoha contract. I need you to help me convince him. The world is depending on it, sensei. Not to mention Ma's rolling pin really hurts. Hiruzen chuckled at the mental image of Jiraiya getting beat down by Ma's rolling pin. I still don't think that I will be of use in this. When we informed the council about his Mokuton, that was the last straw. He gave us a chance to earn a way back into his life, Jiraiya. A chance that we threw away for something as silly as duty or procedure. Jiraiya scowled. Sensei, get your shit together. You did what was right by Konoha. Just like my student did all those years ago. We have always put the village first and it is high time that Brat does the same. I won't let his dishonor the memories of his parents any longer. So, where is he? Hiruzen shook his head, already seeing how this will play out. He trains at his compound in the morning, spends the day in the Forest of Death and then has an evening training session with his peers again. Jiraiya hopped to the window ledge. Alright, sensei, I am going. Don't worry, when I come back Konoha will have a new Toad summoner. Forest of Death 2 p.m., 3 days after prelims. Itachi, Tenzo and Tsunade were watching a horde of Naruto clones practice a variety of tasks while Kurama observed the original Naruto meditating and flowing senjutsu chakra in and out of his coils. Tenzo was providing what few pointers he could to Naruto on the Mokuton abilities. Truth be told, Naruto's raw chakra and life force far exceeded Tenzo's own, which made his jutsu far more potent than anything Tenzo could produce. Tenzo had the clones altering the surrounding trees and was focusing on honing Naruto's micromanagement of the Mokuton. He was having Naruto do things like make words out of the trees or making the trees interact with one another. Of course, Naruto's clones, being the knucklehead they are, decided to make the trees box against one another. Each hand guided potent Mokuton chakra into the trees and made the usually inanimate objects have a full-on, no-holds-barred, slugfest with one another. The chakra control to do this with 2 trees simultaneously was impressive and the group watched on in amusement as wood and tree bark flew sporadically around the clearing. Once one tree was destroyed, another grew in its place and the sparring session began anew, leaving wood splinters, sawdust and tree branches scattered in piles on the floor. Itachi was focusing on Naruto's kenjutsu, speed of his hand signs and on Naruto's pet project. Naruto had read about the adamantine chains of his mother and other chakra chain variants of the Uzumaki clan. Kurama had informed the group that his chakra was more than dense enough to create the chains and that Naruto had the ability to do it. Itachi was reading Kushina's scroll on the ability and trying various things to get the ability to manifest in Naruto. Itachi loved watching Naruto train, even if he worked with shadow clones most of the time. The kid was just so focused on training and enjoyed every second of it, even if it got frustrating at times. That being said, Naruto was easily the most prodigious student Itachi would ever have, and he wanted to play a role in his development. Thinking forward, Itachi also recognized the important role Naruto would play in Konoha's future and throughout his reign as the fifth Hokage. Okay guys, my guess is that clones will not be able to manifest this ability. Kushina never attempted it with shadow clones, and I think there was a reason for that. I want this group to join the Kenjutsu group. One-on-one spars with the resting clones making observations. If you have a moment of realization, condense your thoughts and dispel to share it with everyone else. Itachi called out to his group of 20 clones. Hi, Itachi senpai. The clones chorused in the usual response to Itachi. Itachi walked over to Kurama, who was still watching Naruto meditate. Itachi marveled at the warm feeling surrounding Naruto and the effects on the local plant life that Naruto had when using Senjutsu chakra. The only way to describe it was the overabundance of life force. Do you think I can try something with him? Itachi asked Kurama in monotone. Kurama looked over at Itachi and smirked. You finally figure something out. Itachi nodded calmly. I believe that clones will be unable to perform the Kongo fuzzer. I also believe that Naruto isn't visualizing it properly. I want to try something with him. Do you think you could return to the seal and provide feedback from within? Kurama scowled at that in a pouty way, but it is such a nice day. The kid can figure it out. Itachi had grown accustomed to interacting with Kurama and knew what he had to do. I will personally hunt down 2 deer for you alone. I will also make Naruto release you with enough chakra to take on your kitsune form so you may properly enjoy them. Images of a bloody feast filled Kurama's chakra-constructed mind. He grinned devilishly. You have yourself a deal, Itachi. Oi, Kit, I am returning to the seal. Listen to this human instructor and do what he says. Naruto's head lifted and his eyes cracked open to show that he was in a Stage 1 Sage mode, as Itachi dubbed it. There were only markings around his eyes that resembled eyeshadow. This level of Sage mode was meant to limit the amount of natural energy, and it was Itachi's hope that this could become a sort of resting state for Naruto. I am listening, sensei. Naruto said in a natural calm. Itachi took a seat, Indian style, in front of Naruto. Look, Naruto, I think we have been going about the chakra chains the wrong way. Your mother said that they first manifested from her back in between her shoulder blades. I was thinking, with your tenant and more fox-like attributes, why not try to grow tails first? Your chakra cloaks seem to naturally form tails, so why not imitate that? Naruto smiled at the thought, especially when Kurama shouted his agreement in Naruto's mind. Kurama was excited because if the kit grew tails, then it would be like Naruto was truly one of Kurama's own. Over the years, the 9-tailed Biju had grown to see Naruto as a mix between a best friend and child. So, the idea of seeing his kit running around with fox tails excited him. That's a great idea, Kit. You know how we can extend and manipulate the chakra appendages. Try to concentrate your chakra like that. Focus on giving it form and send it down to the base of your spine. Kurama watched through the mental link and spread his senses around his host's body. Naruto stood up and closed his eyes in concentration. He stood perfectly still in a relaxed, athletic posture with his eyes closed. His chakra aura flared around his body as Naruto focused on willing the chakra to take shape. It took 3 hours of flexing his chakra, resting, meditating and trying again for the first results to take form, and boy were they surprising. Itachi watched his pupil focus in a manner that blew Itachi's mind. Number 13-year-old should be able to focus his being so completely on something for this length of time. The amount of chakra moving through Naruto's system nearly blinded Itachi when he activated his Sharingan, but he still did so from time to time to get a clearer picture of what was going on with Naruto's chakra. After a couple hours, Itachi activated his Mangekyo Sharingan and noticed that a new chakra focal point was forming at the base of Naruto's tailbone. He immediately shared his discovery with Tsunade, who was keenly interested in the development. Tsunade, being the legendary doctor of the elemental nations, had never heard of creating a new tenketsu and she was excited to investigate. Then she saw 9 appendages sprout out of Naruto's tailbone and take form. The chakra chains were unlike anything she had ever seen before, and she blinked multiple times to check if what she was seeing was real. Tenzo saw the clones freeze before they universally turned toward their creator and watched him perform his latest miracle. Tenzo immediately recognized the chakra that was pouring off of the tails, and he felt his body react to the true activation of Mokuton. With a tingly sensation coursing through his body, Tenzo watched as the formless chakra tails shaped themselves into thick chains made of Mokuton chakra. Naruto opened his eyes, feeling that something had changed, and his efforts had borne fruit. He ordered a shadow clone to come over and take a good look at the 9 chains that were nearly 6 feet in length. The chains looked like they were made of wood, but they were a dark, burnt orange, and there was a forest green aura around each of them. At the tip of each chain was a forest green tip that focused down into a tail-like ending that reminded Naruto of Kurama's tails. You did it, Kit. I can feel the new tenketsu and it is already stabilizing at the base of your spine. It is just like the primary tenketsu that forms the control center for my tails. Kit. Kurama's excitement wavered as he slid into a more analytical state of mind. Kit. These chains are composed of raw Mokuton chakra mixed with trace amounts of Senjutsu chakra and my own. You need to be careful with them, I don't know what they will do. Naruto listened to Kurama with rapt interest, and he was beyond giddy to test out his new ability. He felt the chains waving about randomly behind him and decided to see if he could halt their movement. He felt like he was resisting the natural order of things as he forced his chains into a rigid position to prevent them from moving. He felt a burn in his tailbone before the chains receded back into his spinal column. Tsunade rushed over once she broke out of her shock. She immediately began running a diagnostic jutsu over Naruto's sacrum, pelvic bone and tailbone. She hummed with interest as Naruto willingly placed himself into a prone position on the ground, knowing that it was either futile or very painful to deny his mama when she was in this mode. After a couple minutes, Naruto felt the soothing sensation of his mama's medical chakra as she provided relief to the burnt-out tenketsu. Alright, Ruto. Great job, buddy. So, you have a new tenketsu at the base of your spine, were you trying to do that? Naruto shrugged his shoulders while his head rested on a pillow on newly grown grass. Yeah, it was Q's idea. I just kept my chakra focused on that area and I held it there for a couple hours. Tsunade tapped her chin in thought. I have never heard of creating a tenketsu, but you have clearly done it. I don't know if it is because of Kurama or because of your potent chakra though. I will have to test it out. Anyway, the tenketsu is new and you burnt it out. If you want to be able to manifest your chains from other spots, I would try repeating the same process. This time, try to focus on the tenketsu in your palms and try to adapt them to match the newly formed one. That would let you shoot chains out of your palms, if my guess is right. Naruto gave into the yipping in his head and created a wood clone that glowed with red chakra out of his back. Kurama took form and added his thoughts. While it would be cool for you to walk around like a kitsune, your grandmother is right. If you focus on creating the chakra points for your chains, then you should be able to manifest them through other parts of your body. Tsunade bonked Kurama on the head. What have I told you about referring to me with that word, Q? She growled menacingly at him. Kurama shrugged before offering an apology. My bad, Suheim. I just figured that on top of being the most beautiful woman in the world, you may as well claim the lure of the most beautiful grandmother. Naruto Wolf whistled and Itachi chuckled while Tsunade blushed furiously. Kurama had been putting the moves on Tsunade for a while now and Naruto guessed that he was actually starting to have an effect. Smooth, Q. Like a real-life Rico Suave. Naruto said through his chuckles. Kurama grinned devilishly at the comment and Tsunade's blush. Thanks, Kit. No mortal is deserving of such a beauty, and I already see you as my own anyway. Tsunade went crimson as the meaning behind Kurama's words hit her. SSS shut up, BBB Baka Kitsune. Tsunade stuttered out in a fit of embarrassment, which earned laughs from all around until her aura turned murderous. Oh, you want to go? Next one to laugh gets a free trip to Wave Country. Everyone immediately zipped their lips. A whistle came from the tree line before a big, recognizable man with white hair jumped down from his perch on the tree. Naruto instantly saw Ma and Pa Toad on his shoulders and frowned. Flashback, start of the rebellion. Naruto was in Suna, resting after a long week of patrols and missions in Wind Country. He was gathering supporters and he had found a safe place for the Biju to lay low. Things were going well and there hadn't been any direct offensives yet, which gave Suna time to prepare. He had just gotten out of the shower when 3 puffs of chakra smoke filled his room. When the smoke dissipated, Naruto saw Pa and a miniature form of Gamabunter. Naruto smiled brilliantly at his summons, not picking up on the mood. Hey guys, what brings you to Suna? Naruto boy, I need you to take a seat. Pa said in a serious tone and frowned a bit. Naruto sat on the bed and shot a confused look between the three toads. Bunter spoke up. Look, brat, we just returned from a council of the summons, and we have bad news. Naruto remained silent, waiting for a further explanation. Naruto-chan, the Summon Council acknowledges that you were the child of prophecy, and you fulfilled the prophecy by stopping Madara Uchiha. Naruto smiled in a moment of pride before Pa continued. Naruto boy, there is a problem. Since you no longer belong to Konoha, we will no longer be able to be your summons. Pa said remorsefully, and the old toad nearly cracked when Naruto's face fell and tears welled in the sparkling, azure blue eyes. Bunter hopped onto Naruto's shoulder. We tried to resist, but our summoning contract was linked to Konoha by Jiraiya. We wanted to come in person to tell Ya that we need to remove you from our roster, and you will no longer be able to summon us. I'm sorry, kiddo. Naruto wept silently for nearly 5 minutes, trying to wrap his mind around this betrayal. Kurama did his best to comfort Naruto, but it was futile. The toads had played a massive role in his life, and he counted them as family, which meant this was a serious betrayal by family. Naruto's sadness pulled subconsciously on Kurama's chakra and sadness turned to anger. So, I fulfill your damned prophecy and you just drop me in a trash can like some used condom. That's bullshit and you know it. Naruto shouted hoarsely, still gripped by overwhelming sadness. Ma frowned. Language, Naruto-chan. She held up her rolling pin menacingly at the young man. Bullshit, Ma. This is bullshit. I don't give a damn about some council. If someone is family you fight and you die alongside them before you ever betray them. Naruto shouted despondently. Ma attempted to thwack Naruto on his head with her rolling pin, but Naruto caught it and his eyes flashed red. Pa stepped in, not wanting things to escalate. Naruto boy, you need to calm down. We didn't come here to fight. Naruto turned his red, slitted glare on Fukusaku. If that was all you have to say, leave. If that was all I meant to you then leave immediately. The three toads tried to protest, but it was futile. Their hollow words never penetrated the grief, sorrow, rage and betrayal that Naruto was feeling. They went back to Mount Mayuboku with heavy hearts and a lot to think about. End of flashback. Naruto's azure eyes turned frigid, and his warm aura turned menacing as he looked into the eyes of Ma and Pa Toad as they rode on Jiraiya's shoulders. Naruto still held love for the buffoon, but he had done little to nothing to redeem himself in this life. Furthermore, Naruto was confused why Jiraiya never told him of his lineage, why he never properly trained him and why it was always about the Kyuubi when they were training. These unresolved feelings were the main reason he kept Jiraiya at arm's reach this time around and Tsunade had backed him completely in his decision. Tsunade stepped in between Naruto and Jiraiya before scowling. What do you want, Jiraiya? Jiraiya plastered on a goofy grin and held up his hands. Don't be like that, Haim. I just want to talk to the kid and train him. Itachi joined Tsunade as an impromptu barrier in between his charge and Jiraiya. And what makes you think you have anything to teach my student? Itachi wasn't completely clued in, but it was clear to Itachi that Jiraiya had hurt his student, which was all the motivation Itachi needed. Jiraiya's gaze hardened as he turned his head to Itachi. Look, brat, I was winning wars before you were even born. That there is my grandson and godson, and you have no right to step in between us. Tsunade scoffed. Godson. Mighty convenient to claim that now that he is grown up. Jiraiya frowned at Tsunade and his eyes misted over with regret. Look, Haim, I made mistakes. I have tried to make up for them. Yeah, Tsunade, Jiraiya boy feels mighty bad about his failings. Just hear us out, will you Naruto boy? Pa backed his summoner up, but he wasn't ready for the look of betrayal and hurt that occupied the depths of Naruto's azure blue eyes. Lord Fukusaku, the truth is you will never know the reason why I refused to sign the Toad summoning contract. I am bound by a higher contract not to divulge that information. That being said, use your senjutsu and listen to my words. Naruto paused here, giving the Toads time to get into serious mode. I will never be a Toad summoner. I do not care that I am some child of prophecy. Yes, I know it is me. You will have no part in guiding my hand, no influence on my training, and I care not for the games played by the Council of Summons or the visions of some old geezer. At the very least, I will offer the toads neutrality. Stay out of my way and I will stay out of yours. Jiraiya began his retort, but he was cut off by a wave of the rolling pin from Ma. Naruto-chan, what have the toads done to offend you so? I felt your pain and I don't doubt your resolve, but this doesn't make sense. You possess information that you should not know, and you claim you are bound by a higher contract, but I can tell that you are no summoner. Yeah, brat, the toads are awesome, and you shouldn't speak to them like that. Jiraiya's chastising was cut off by a murderous glare from Tsunade, who calmed down a bit when Kurama put a comforting hand on her shoulder. Jiraiya glared at the intimate contact, and he got his bravado back. And who are you, Red? Naruto laughed heartily, completely expecting this reaction from Jiraiya. Godfather, meet the Kyuubi no Kitsune, you may refer to him as Q until he shares his name. Q, this is my absentee godfather, Jiraiya Senju. I know, Kit, I was the one that told you he was a Senju, remember? Q shot back, never losing his devilish smirk. Jiraiya and the toads were stunned with their chins rolling on the forest floor. Jiraiya was pointing stupidly at Q and Ma and Pa weren't faring much better. The group let this go on for a minute before Itachi coughed and brought them back to the real world. How could you, brat? How could you make your father's sacrifice meaningless? Jiraiya shouted, taking a battle-ready posture. Naruto shot an amused look at Q, who sighed before he returned to the seal. Naruto shot a red eyebrow at Jiraiya before creating another wood clone for Kurama to inhabit. Now, Godfather, I recommend you stand down before I put you down. I will not tolerate any aggression toward Q or anyone I consider family. Jiraiya-chan, let it go. That was not what we came to talk to Naruto-chan about. Ma jumped onto Jiraiya's head and began patting it in a comforting manner. Fine, Jiraiya huffed, but we will talk about this later. For now, Naruto, you need to sign the Toad contract. No, Naruto boy, it is prophesied that Jiraiya will guide the child of prophecy, Fukusaku began. Naruto shrugged before interrupting Fukusaku. I don't care. Like, literally, I give 0s. I am going to do me, and I will change the world how I see fit. Jiraiya's face and tone hardened. Naruto, you will not disrespect Ma and Pa. You will sign the Toad contract. It is your birthright and your duty. No, Jiraiya, it is neither of the two. Did you know that I met my father, and he integrated his knowledge into me through the seal? Did you know he asked Bunter to look out for me? Did any of the toads even check in on me as I was left to rot in an orphanage? Or the year I spent alone in the Namika's compound? Or the years after I found Mama and started my life with her? Spoiler alert, no, they didn't. The toads have no right to me because they denied my father's dying wish in the same way you did, grandfather. Naruto's voice wavered with emotion, but he never shouted or raised his volume. Three faces fell in shame, realizing that the boy was right. They looked up as Naruto bit his thumb and flipped through the reverse summoning hand signs. They tried to stop him, but Tsunade blocked them. This will take me to the summons I am most attuned with. I know the risks and I will leave it in Kami's hands. If I end up in Mayuboku, then I may sign the contract. If I don't, please often leave me alone. With that, Naruto slammed his hand on the ground and disappeared in a puff of white smoke. Naruto's clones and Kurama popped out of existence and the clearing fell into a stunned silence. What did you just do, Tsunade? Jiraiya roared. He could die. Tsunade scoffed. Oh, can it, Jiraiya? Now, old geezers, I will tell you that you will never regain Naruto's trust. You will never know what you have lost or exactly why you have lost it. If you try to keep forcing the issue, you will make an enemy. Jiraiya puffed out his chest. Relax, Haim. I am still more powerful than you and I wouldn't even need my sage mode. Tsunade laughed heartily while Itachi and Tenzo backed away slowly as Tsunade began cracking her knuckles. Oh, you think? Well, Toad boy, I have spent the last 7 years training with Naruto. Naruto altered my strength of 100 seal and added a yin component. I have trained every day with resistance and weight seals, and I am still stronger than my blonde grandson. If you want to test that theory, Tsunade let that hang and got into a combat stance as her aura surged and cracked the ground around her. Jiraiya held up his hands defensively, realizing that he just choked himself with his own foot. Now, Haim, there is no need to get physical. Tsunade cracked her neck while glaring at Jiraiya. Her honey-brown eyes glowed golden as power flowed through her. Aqua-blue sage markings appeared around her eyes as the Slug Sannin just debuted the Slug Sage to the world. Oh, but I think there is. Tsunade-chan, this battle would destroy Konoha if we let it continue. Please calm down. I would very much appreciate an explanation for Naruto's strong feelings against the Toads. Ma cut into the confrontation. Tsunade turned her powerful gaze on Ma and made the old toad flinch. I am bound by the same contract. Naruto is not to disclose that information. The only thing you need to know is that Naruto will never trust the Toads again, and he has my full support in that decision. Jiraiya was getting frustrated now, and he stomped his foot on the ground. What is this contract you keep speaking of? At that moment, an ethereal voice was heard, and Jiraiya, Ma, Pa and Tsunade were pulled into an otherworldly white plane. A golden light appeared in front of the group and Tsunade got down on one knee with her hand over her heart. Ma and Pa followed suit, but Jiraiya stood in a stunned silence before Ma smacked him on the head with her rolling pin and he got down on a knee. I will not share everything with you because it would interfere too much in my little show. Fukusaku and Shima, the Toads betrayed my chosen child in a previous life. You will never speak of this again and you will not attempt to get more information out of Naruto. You will be bound by celestial contract and Jiraiya will wake up accepting that Naruto will not be a Toad summoner. I cannot let him remember this. Ma and Pa, tell Gamamaru of this and share no more or I will stop letting him watch my shows. The ethereal voice giggled before continuing. Oh, and Tsunade, thank you for everything you have done. When the time comes, you will join me with your loved ones. Minato and Kushina are excited to see you again, along with Dan and Naoki. The group was ejected from the ethereal world and returned to the Forest of Death. Tears were falling freely as a reminiscent smile graced Tsunade's face. Jiraiya was unconscious on the forest floor while Ma and Pa were godsmacked. Tsunade saw this and her smile turned to a stern look. I trust no more needs to be said. Please return to Mayuboku and let the old geezer know to let things go. Tsunade said sternly. Ma and Pa looked at each other before returning to Mount Mayuboku with no further arguments. Tsunade sighed and plopped down on the forest floor, determined to wait for Naruto to return from the summoning realm. Tenzo and Itachi offered the goodbyes before they returned to the village, leaving Jiraiya passed out on the ground. Tsunade erected an earthen house and unsealed a cushion to rest on before she unsealed some medical files and got some work done while she was waiting for her grandson. The Great Forest of Jura. Naruto felt like his body was repeatedly pulled through the eye of a needle as he moved through dimensions. His eyes were closed, but he felt like he could see streaks of light and his body felt weightless as it traveled through the dimension. Suddenly, he appeared in a forest he didn't recognize surrounded by trees that looked similar, yet very different to the trees of Fire Country. After shaking off the disorienting method of travel, Naruto decided to climb up the tallest tree he could find to get his bearings. At the top of the tree, Naruto looked around and saw an expansive forest that went almost as far as the eye could see. He saw a lake way off in the distance, a mountain range slightly closer and he could see a clearing in the forest nearly 10 miles away. Naruto descended from his perch and decided to use his sage mode to get a better understanding of where he was. As he sat down, crossed his legs, rested his hands on his knees and closed his eyes, Naruto reached out to the world around him. The first thing Naruto felt was that the energy of this world was completely different. It was potent energy, but it didn't bear the same makeup or feel as natural energy from his world. Deciding to play with it, Naruto gathered the strange energy into himself and found that it was far more pliable than the nature chakra from his world. Much like his world, this energy was in every living thing that Naruto could feel in the forest, and it was as eager to explore him as he was to explore it. Naruto could feel the plants, trees, ants, holy shit those were big ants, spiders, what the is wrong with those spiders, snakes. Kami, I still hate snakes even in this world, Naruto thought. Then he started feeling creatures and signatures that he wasn't familiar with, he even thought they were highly condensed versions of this life-giving energy. Notice, unique ability, Sage of the Forest granted to individual Naruto Senju, a mechanical voice sounded in Naruto's head, which completely distracted him from his meditation. What the was that? Naruto thought. I don't know, Kit. You should know everyone is here though. When you came to this world it brought us with you. Kurama answered. This world? Isn't this a summoning realm? Like a pocket dimension or something? Naruto thought back. Rias was in her thinking pose, trying to process everything that was happening. No, Ruto. This is a different world. You felt all of the different signatures, which wouldn't happen in a summoning realm. Oh, shit, Naruto said out loud. Ara, what is this shit you are speaking of? A playful voice sounded from behind Naruto. Naruto whipped around to see a beautiful woman with green hair, wrapped in vines and wearing a light turquoise camisole with a blue dress that covered her feet. She felt like nature itself and she held a power that seemed familiar, yet strange, to Naruto. Naruto decided to play this carefully. Naruto rose from the ground, scratched the back of his neck while chuckling sheepishly and then bowed respectfully to the lady in front of him. Hello miss. I am Naruto Senju, a shinobi from Konoha and I somehow ended up in your forest. I was hoping maybe you could help me out. Also, did you hear that strange voice before? Trainee smiled at the blonde boy. She could tell that he was powerful, yet it was clear he didn't belong in this world. Ara, it is nice to meet you, Naruto. I am the Dryad, Trainee, servant of Demon Lord Rimuru. You are in the great forest of Jura, Demon Lord Rimuru's domain. She just said Demon Lord twice, that's bad, right? Naruto thought before he responded, letting his alters sort out things in his head for him. Demon Lord, Naruto asked. Isn't that a bad thing? Trainee laughed, a beautiful and melodical life that flitted through the air like leaves caught in a breeze. Oh no, Demon Lord Rimuru is magnificent. Tell me, Senju, are you an otherworlder? Otherworlder. Maybe they know how to send me back then. Naruto composed himself and hid his emotions. Probably. I was trying to find a summoning contract and I was sent here. Are the Dryads a summoning clan? Trainee gave Naruto a skeptical and confused look. I do not know. The Dryads serve Lord Rimuru and help him manage the forest. That was actually why I came here. Were you the one taking magicules from the forest? Magicules? Naruto asked, truly perplexed. After listening to Kurama and Rias for a second, Naruto then chuckled. Is that what I was doing? I was trying to go into sage mode so that I could determine where I was. Trainee was now keenly interested, but she knew that this conversation should probably include Lord Rimuru. Okay. Well, why don't we go talk to Demon Lord Rimuru and get this figured out? Naruto nodded hesitantly, not knowing if he was looking forward to meeting somebody calling themselves a Demon Lord. Trainee stepped next to Naruto before a magical circle appeared below their feet and the two disappeared in a flutter of leaves. It felt much like using the Haraishin, but Naruto was honestly blown away that this Dryad could so easily use the technique. Naruto appeared in a city, surrounded by creatures of all sizes and races. His senses were overloaded as his connection to the world reached out and touched every creature in the vicinity. He could tell that they harbored no hostile intent, but he could also sense that there were some more powerful than he was. He counted roughly 8 creatures whose natural energy far exceeded his own. Kurama was cautioning him to be nice and respectful, saying that this was like no summoning realm he had ever seen. Trainee walked him toward an official-looking building made out of white marble with a circular creature in the place one would normally expect a crest to be. It confused Naruto and his internal passengers to no end, but he figured he would find out in due time. Naruto and Trainee received greetings from every creature they passed. Naruto counted humans, midget humans, lizard creatures, dog men, big green men, little fairies and men with horns that screamed power. Naruto was starting to relax as everyone seemed friendly enough and the presence of humans made him feel at least a little bit comforted. Naruto was walked into an ornate office and saw 2 of the most beautiful creatures that he had ever seen. One was wearing a purple 2-piece suit with purple hair tied into a ponytail, a massive rack and a black horn coming from her forehead. The other was wearing a shrine maiden-style dress, light pink hair, regal features that highlighted her raw beauty. Her smile made Naruto's heart flutter and the 2 white horns accentuated her beauty. In the center of the desk, there was a blue ball creature that Naruto didn't recognize at all, but he felt that it was powerful. Lord Rimuru, an unexpected guest appeared in the forest, and I thought that it would be good to bring him to you. Trainee said formally while bowing. Naruto followed suit and offered a polite bow. I think he is an otherworlder and he claims that he brought himself to our world. Naruto saw the blue sphere shift and somehow felt that it was looking at him and analyzing him. Naruto and Kurama were highly intrigued that this small creature was the so-called demon lord of these lands. He saw the questioning looks from the two females next to the desk and decided to wait and see how this played out. Rimuru was now keenly interested, and he was talking internally to Raphael to figure out everything he could about this strangely familiar human in front of him. So, Raphael, what can you tell me? Rimuru thought. Answer, this human is from another and unknown world. He possesses an energy different from magicules and has a demon sealed inside him. He is powerful and the voice of the world has already granted him a unique ability. The soft, yet slightly robotic, voice answered Rimuru's question. Oh ho, what ability? Answer, this boy was granted the unique ability, Sage of the Forest. It is unknown what this ability grants him. Rimuru focused on the boy and slight slits appeared on his slime form that gave the impression of eyes. Welcome to Rimuru, the capital of the Jura Tempest Federation. I am Demon Lord Rimuru, bringer of chaos. How can I help you, Sage of the Forest? Rimuru's voice was high-pitched and disarming. Naruto rose from his bow and scratched the back of his neck sheepishly. Were you the one that called me that back in the forest? The slime rolled to its side, as if in its head. No, you heard the voice of the world. Voice of the world, Naruto questioned, is that what that was? I dunno, I was trying to enter Sage mode and I felt that the natural energy here was different from my home world. The slime formed a hand with a thumbs up. Nice job, you are taking this pretty well. If you don't mind me asking, what world do you come from and how did you get here? And what is this Sage mode you mentioned? Well I am ninja from Konoha, a town in Fire Country in the Elemental Nations. I don't know what the world is called. Naruto ed his head and pondered that thought before continuing. I used a reverse summoning jutsu to find a summoning clan that I could call upon to aid me in my battles and other things. Sage mode is the ability to gather natural energy from the surrounding environment and I use it to connect to the world and strengthen my jutsus. Ninja. Jutsus. Summons. Rimuru asked in his signature childish voice. Well, you see, I am a ninja from Konoha. We used abilities with chakra to perform powerful techniques called jutsu. In my world, we can link with an animal summoning clan that we can partner with. Naruto explained. Notice, powerful magicule signature incoming. Raphael warned Rimuru internally, making him stiffen. A beautiful woman with goddess-like beauty and blonde hair appeared next to Naruto. She wore a white, Roman-style toga dress that strapped over her left shoulder. Her hair flitted around with small orange ribbons in it and Rimuru was glad he was in his slime form otherwise his jaw would have been on the floor. Oh, how interesting. Is Veldanava around anymore? The goddess asked. Suddenly, all of Rimuru's most trusted guardians appeared in the room and took defensive positions in front of their lord. The goddess laughed a beautiful and ethereal laugh. Oh, this is too funny. Ruto, leave it to you to go to a separate world. A blush appeared on the slime, which made the females bristle protectively. I'm sorry miss, but who are you? Oh, sorry about that Satoru-san. I am Kami, the goddess from Naruto's dimension. It appears that Veldanava is no more. Are his children still around? The woman asked, completely carefree despite the threatening group of powerful creatures. A girl with pink hair tied in twin ponytails wearing what appeared to be a skimpy outfit stepped forward. How do you know my dad? What do you mean he is gone? Oh, how cute, Milim, it has been decades since I last saw you. The only dragonoid, demon lord of destruction, Milim Nava. Your father ruled this realm, designated the cardinal world. I made contact with him eons ago, I am sad I never got to say goodbye. Just so we can bring everyone up to speed, please close your eyes. The monsters looked toward the slime, who simply rolled forward in a nodding gesture. Suddenly, everyone received an influx of information that explained everything relevant to the parties in the room. Rimuru was blown away and ashamed that he didn't recognize Naruto sooner. Naruto was wide-eyed, seeing that the slime in front of him used to be a human. Kami soaked in the reactions and enjoyed a good laugh. Milim was wide-eyed at the goddess in front of her that knew her father. Veldora was crying as memories of his father brought up tragic memories of the past. Shion and Shuna were crying having seen Naruto's memories and the struggles he has endured. Rimuru took his human form and bowed respectfully to Kami. Thank you, Kami-sama. That saves a lot of time. After another chuckle, Kami held out her hand. Oh, think nothing of it, Rimuru. You and I will become good friends in the not-too-distant future. Now, while it is unconventional, I think we could both benefit from a mutual summoning contract. Is this agreeable? It was Rimuru's turn to rub the back of his bluish hair sheepishly. I dunno. It is all a lot to take in. I just recently took my place in the octagram and we are still recovering from dealing with Demon Lord Clayman. Ah yes, that was well done. Naruto has had to deal with a couple characters such as Clayman in the past, although he was a particularly slimy bastard. Now, I cannot spill any secrets and I technically shouldn't intervene in another realm, but the god of this realm has passed on. So, what do you say to a mutual summoning contract? Benimaru stepped forward. I am the military advisor to Demon Lord Rimuru. I have seen the memories, but I wish to test this one's power for myself. I propose a duel to determine the overall value of entering an agreement with this Naruto Senju. Naruto thought it out and decided that there was little harm in a battle. He could feel the power from Benimaru and knew that they would be roughly even if Naruto didn't use Kurama or Sage Mode. I can agree to that. Naruto, are you sure? Benimaru is one of my stronger subordinates and a duel allows killing blows. It doesn't have to end in death, but killing techniques are allowed. Rimuru cautioned. Naruto saw a twinkle in Kami's eyes and swallowed the lump in his throat. I can handle it. If I win, I want the right to summon the Dryads and, Kijin, right. Shion stepped forward and pouted. No fair, I want to fight too. She stepped behind Rimuru and plopped her massive bust on Rimuru's head. Naruto shrugged before he was encompassed in a red energy. A wood clone sprouted out of his back and the red energy rushed into it. Kurama cracked his neck and grinned devilishly at Shion. I will be your opponent then. On the battlegrounds outside of Tempest, Naruto squared off against Benimaru and Shion unslung her massive sword in front of Kurama. Kurama unsealed the blade Naruto made with anium, chakra metal, Kurama's chakra and Mokuton chakra, which acted as a stabilizing agent for Kurama's potent chakra. The red blade glistened and glowed with Kurama's chakra. An old, white-haired Kijin stepped forward. Naruto closed his eyes and reviewed the memory dump from Kami to remember that this was Hakuro. This is to be a duel. Killing blows are allowed but discouraged. The duel is over when one side concedes, dies or is no longer able to fight. The duel for summoning rights between Naruto Senju Uzumaki and the Jura Tempest Federation starts, now. Benimaru unslung his sword and encased it in a blackish-blue flame before he disappeared in a dash forward. Naruto held his sword behind him with one hand and blocked Benimaru's sword before Naruto turned and sent a chakra-powered punch toward the Kijin. Benimaru transitioned the sword into a two-handed blocking position, but he wasn't ready for the raw force of Naruto's punch. The flame-encased blade slammed back into Benimaru's chest and sent him rolling backward. The mighty clang of the metal reverberated throughout the forest. As Benimaru was recovering, Naruto weaved through hand signs before stomping on the ground. Earthen spears shot out of the ground in an attempt to skewer Benimaru, but the Kijin had recovered enough to dodge the earthen spears. Benimaru focused black flames into a ball in his right hand before he chucked it toward Naruto and called out, Hell Flare. Naruto saw the black ball coming and flipped through three hand seals before slamming his hands on the ground and calling out, Wood style, wood wall. The black ball impacted on the wood wall and a sizable explosion erupted in between the Kijin and Shinobi. Benimaru was looking around for Naruto when two hands came up from the ground and pulled one of Benimaru's legs deep into the ground. Benimaru managed to shake off the other hand, but now he was stuck in an awkward position. Naruto resurfaced from the ground and attempted to put his sword at Benimaru's neck. The Kijin slapped Naruto's sword out of the way and gave a might shout as his power flared and blew the earth encasing his left leg away. Benimaru stood to his full height, encompassed in a bluish-black magical aura with the flames on his sword expanding menacingly. Naruto focused water chakra onto his blade and took a defensive position. The two began a 5-minute-long kenjutsu battle that thoroughly impressed the onlookers and left Kami giggling like a schoolgirl. It was different for her to be in the presence of the battle rather than watching it from her heavenly realm. Rimuru was talking with Rigger, Shien, Diablo, Veldora and Milim, who were all starting to get battle-hungry looks in their eyes. Rimuru was nervous that his forest would soon be destroyed if he didn't calm them all down. So, what do you guys think? Rimuru asked as the Kenjutsu battle continued. Milim's pouty voice sounded out first, "It's not fair. I want to go to this guy's world and have fun. He is strong, and if there are more strong people like him then I want to go too." Apologies, Milim, that will not be possible. You have too many magicules to transfer in between worlds and it would upset my little experiment too much. Veldora laughed boisterously. You are just like my brother. He used to love playing with the humans and running through experiments. Although, he never reset the timeline like you did. Kami chuckled mischievously, that you know about. Diablo grinned and chuckled, if it is the will of my master then I will go. Nope, no demons. We have enough of those. 9 to be precise, and you are looking at a representation of one over there with Shien. Kami answered and the whole group looked toward Kurama who was engaged in a destructive battle with Shien. I will allow the dryads, creatures of the forest and Kijin because both worlds would benefit in that instance. When the new god is elected for this world, I will negotiate a pact with him. How do you know a new god will come to this world? Rimuru asked, truly interested. Because Veldanava left the rules in place. Did you just think the voice of the world was randomly there? Or that the skill system makes sense without a higher purpose? No. There will be a new god and it won't take too long for it claim its rightful place in this world. Kami answered and made the group think. So, if we help your chosen one, I can call on him when I need him. Rimuru asked. Yep, that's the way it works. Kami said with a pleased smile. Okay then, I am sold. Rimuru answered after a small exchange with Raphael, who confirmed what Kami was saying. Kami held out her right hand and a contract emerged. Great, sign above your name and channel your magicules into your hand for a handprint, please. Rimuru obeyed, but he asked a question. Well, now that this is decided, shouldn't we stop them? Kami chuckled, let the boys play. What followed would be described as the decimation of Jura. All of the onlookers decided to join in on the action and multiple friendly battles erupted around the forest. Milim coaxed Veldora into a fight, Shien went all out against Kurama, Hikuro ended up fighting Naruto after Benimaru was defeated. Diablo ended up knocking Hikuro out after 10 minutes and fought playfully against Naruto, who he found very intriguing. In short, the strongest members of the Jura Tempest Federation laid waste to the great forest of Jura. Luckily, the town managed to survive the rampage of the dragons, demons, Kijin and shinobi. Naruto woke up the next day tucked into the massive bust of Shien. They were passed out on a table with mugs still in hand. Unfortunately, Naruto's head was underneath the massive bust, which meant one side of his face hurt from being pushed into the table all night. A great hangover made Naruto's vision swim and his stomach churn before his vision cleared and he was able to take in the town. People were laid out drunk all over the city as the sun started to crest over the remaining trees of the great Jura forest. Smoke still billowed up in areas, powerful, residual concentrations of magicules hung in the air and Trainee was running around screaming about her precious forest. Naruto gave Shien's shoulder a gentle tap to wake her up, but the purple-haired beauty rolled into a pile of her own drool and stayed asleep. Naruto chuckled and went out to calm Trainee down. Trainee took Naruto to the center of the destruction where he sat down on the scorched landscape and relaxed into a meditative position. He noticed that all of his altars were out of the seal, which means they were probably passed out amid the collection of creatures that decided to celebrate the new alliance. Naruto purged his hangover, calmed his energy and focused on taking in the residual magicules from the surrounding area. He played with them in his system and got used to the feel of them as they mixed with his chakra. After familiarizing himself on a deeper level with the magicules, he was able to get the potent magical energy to flow naturally alongside his chakra. As soon as he was able to do this, he felt the familiar surge of energy that reminded him of Sage Mode. Naruto stood and kept collecting his chakra and infusing it with magicules. Once he reached critical mass, he called out, Mokuton, Deep Forest Emergence, before he slammed his hands on the ground and channeled all of his collected magicules and chakra into the ground. Trainee watched, truly astounded, as a new forest brimming with life energy emerged in a circle around Naruto. The new trees grew and spread and grew some more until her whole vision was filled with a dense forest. Trainee sighed contentedly at the feel of Naruto's chakra infused into the trees of the forest. It was peaceful, natural and beautiful in a way that was alien, yet completely welcome. She took joy in noticing the new plants, flowers and trees that were now a part of her forest, and she knew the animals would love this new addition. That was how the Great Jura Forest got its own subdivision that would later be known as the Forest of Death due to the larger-than-normal creatures that would feast on the chakra and magicule-rich environment. Trainee tackled Naruto in an excited hug as the voice of the world evolved his unique skill into an ultimate skill called Keeper of the Forest. When his skill evolved, he felt it was more natural for him to absorb and play with magicules, and he noticed that magicules had integrated themselves into his chakra pathway. Naruto rose from the ground with Trainee hanging from his back like an adoring fangirl, and he returned to Tempest. Upon his return to Tempest, all of the creatures gathered and bowed to him. Flashes of drunken memories flitted through his head as images of a raucous party filled with adorable monster girls stamped themselves on his brain. He was guided toward the conference room in the town hall, and when he entered, he saw all of Tempest's most important people gathered there along with Kami. Evidently the goddess took advantage of this impromptu vacation in another god's realm and left Minato in charge. The morning was filled with negotiations as the contract was drafted and solidified. Rimuru was the manager of the contract for this realm, and Naruto would be the manager in the elemental nations. Kami created a link between worlds to make it easier to travel between them. Kaijin, Garm, Dord, Murd and Kurobe were highly interested in the Fuinjutsu seals that Naruto knew. A mutual trade agreement was made for sealing knowledge in return for runic knowledge. It would be a long time before the two would be interchangeable due to the different power sources of the techniques, but there was also a smithing exchange. In honor of the new alliance, Kaijin presented Naruto with a unique blade that he had named Raihoko, which means Dragon's Roar. It was made from Veldora's chipped tooth and Magisteel, so it channeled energy proficiently. Naruto was excited to replace his wakizashi with this blade and incorporate it into his twin rampaging dragon tails kenjutsu style. Naruto agreed to a summoning system that would require him to respond within one of his standard days, which was evidently only 4 hours in the cardinal world according to Kami. Due to this difference in time, it would let Rimuru assign available assets to answer Naruto's summons without inconveniencing him too much. He could make requests for specific summons and Rimuru would send them if they were available. There was no limitation on the summons except that Naruto would have to pay the chakra price for the summoning, and it would require consistent chakra for any summons to remain in the elemental nations. All in all, it was a really good deal for Naruto, and he was excited to bring the Kijin and others over to explore. I don't plan on make this a total crossover. I am simply a huge fan of Tensura and thought that it would be a cool summoning pact. If this story gets enough leverage, I will do a follow-on where the adult Naruto joins Rimuru for the Tempest Holy War arc. Forest of Death, 1 week after initial disappearance. Naruto appeared in the clearing of the Forest of Death after collecting his altars and Kurama, who had become best buddies with Diablo as a fellow demon. Naruto shook off the disorientation and was surprised to see Tsunade, Shizune, Ino, Temari, the Sabakis, Itachi and a couple others training in the clearing. He was tackled to the ground by Ino and Temari before he completely shook off the disorientation. Everyone gathered around him to hear the story of the new world and summoning contract that Naruto was able to get, except he left out Kami's involvement. To quell their curiosity and disbelief, Naruto weaved through hand seals and nicked his thumb before slamming his right hand on the ground. To his surprise, Trainee and Traya answered his call. The two dryads waved at the stunned audience before they collaborated Naruto's story. They fawned over Naruto like he was their master, which made Ino and Temari grow tick marks. After all, they were still only teenagers and these beautiful tree ladies were clinging all over their man. After introducing themselves to the group, Trainee and Traya returned to the cardinal world. With their curiosity satisfied, Tsunade stomped over and bonked Naruto on the head. Do you know how worried we were about you, brat? Naruto rubbed the bump on top of his head. Sorry, Mama, it was only 1 day over there. I just wanted to shut the toads up is all. Yeah, well, they aren't taking it well, brat. Jiraiya is throwing a temper tantrum and the council was waiting for your return. I was to bring you to the council once you returned. Tsunade informed him. Ah, do I have to? Naruto whined childishly. I am so done with those old farts. Tsunade barked out a laugh. Ha ha, sure thing brat. Sadly, yes, we must deal with the council. Kinji can only protect us so much. Don't worry, I have already informed him of the likely topic, and he will be arriving in 2 weeks to back us up. Naruto sighed, F it. Ladies, will you be able to stay over tonight? I am staying at your compound, Ruto. Temari deadpanned. I will tell daddy. Ino said excitedly before kissing him lightly on the lips. Itachi stepped forward. It may have only been a day there, Ruto, but you missed out on a week of training. Give me 300 clones before you go. 20 for me, Ruto. Shizune called out. I learned something cool that I want to show you. 20 for us. Kankuro added. I need target practice for Crow, Black Ant and Sparrow. I will take 10 wood clones for taijutsu practice. Gaara requested. Naruto sighed and made a show that his friends were treating him like some sort of draft horse. He created the requested clones that also made a show of complaining before joining their assigned targets. He then disappeared in a shunshin alongside Tsunade. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.